an explosive new report from BuzzFeed News, claiming President Trump directed his former attorney, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress about negotiation with Russia during the 2016 campaign to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Citing 2 law enforcement officials involved in an investigation of the matter, the article claims after the election, the president instructed Cohen to say that negotiations over the building project ended months earlier than it actually did, in an attempt to, quote, obscure Trump's involvement. ABC News has not corroborated BuzzFeed's account.
It is day 28 of the partial government shutdown. Democrats refusing to negotiate with the president until the government reopens. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also suggesting President Trump reschedule his State of the Union address amid the shutdown.
But we haven't heard. Very silent, more than 24 hours.
Still no word whether the president will postpone the address. Instead, the president sent a letter to Pelosi denying her use of a military aircraft to visit troops in Afghanistan and allies in Brussels. It's back to the bargaining table again today for teachers in LA, now into day 5 of their strike.
We're bargaining hard and we're organizing on the ground hard. Okay, and we've got to continue that. We're going to push to do as much as we can over the weekend. This may very well go into next week.
A top North Korean official is now in Washington, D.C. for talks today with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo about a possible second summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
The Health and Human Services Department's Inspector General says thousands more migrant children may have been separated from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border than previously reported by the administration. The shutdown being driven by a fight over border wall money. We're now learning about a large group of asylum seekers that burrowed under a wall already in place near Yuma, Arizona earlier this week. Nearly 400 people, 180 of them were children.
There was 176 kids in that group of 376. So quite a few kids in there, and a lot of little kids.
In Chicago, a Cook County judge has acquitted 3 Chicago cops accused of trying to cover up the police killing of Laquan McDonald. Jason Van Dyke, the fired officer who killed McDonald, will be sentenced today, asking for probation or no more than 6 years in prison.
Scientists now think Saturn may have spent almost its entire existence without rings. An Italian-led team finds Saturn's primary rings appear to be 10 million to 100 million years old compared to the planet, which is 4.5 billion years old.
Before the Super Bowl kicks off, Gladys Knight will be singing. She's been tapped to perform the Star-Spangled Banner this year. The 7-time Grammy winner says she's proud to use her voice to, quote, unite and represent her hometown of Atlanta. 74-year-old was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996.
Cutbacks are coming to Tesla.
In a company-wide email this morning, Elon Musk seems to acknowledge that he may have allowed his electric car company to grow too quickly by boosting his workforce by 30% last year in order to ramp up production of the lower-priced Model 3 variant in the coming months. Musk says he's reluctantly letting about 3,100 employees go.
The NFL's championship Sunday is coming up with the Rams facing the Saints and the Patriots against the Chiefs.
More people are jumping onto Netflix. It added nearly 9 million subscribers in the fourth quarter of 2018, up 34% from a year earlier. Revenues were up 27%, but came in a bit under expectations and profits fell.
A thrilling upset at the Australian Open this morning. Maria Sharapova beat defending champ Caroline Wozniacki 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. Sharapova moves on to the 4th round.
Believed to be the largest great white shark on record anywhere in the world, Deep Blue, as she's called, made a surprise appearance off the coast of Oahu this week. 20 feet long, 8 feet high, this queen of the ocean was a gentle giant as diver Ocean Ramsey swam alongside her.
The dolphins start to come up, and with the dolphins, she started to ascend, and it was kind of like she was being escorted by these dolphins that were dancing around her. It was just absolutely incredible.
Meteorologist Ginger Z here, telling you about that winter storm this weekend that will absolutely impact travel, especially because a lot of people are getting around because of the holidays. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going to be going on. It begins with all that energy, some of the energy that's coming from this, at least already 4 feet of snow in Mammoth Lakes, California. The Sierra is still getting pounded. Some places will end up with 6 feet, so just a big one there. And then there are wind alerts all the way through the southern plains, but watch those warnings and advisories from, say, Iowa, where Des Moines is up for, say, 6 to 9 inches of snow or so, through Chicago, then eventually Toledo, Pittsburgh, all the way up to Maine. And here's why. You've got that second storm that comes through. It really gathers steam today, and it'll wrap up by tomorrow morning. Chicago should see some major impacts to travel by tomorrow morning, and then have some lake effect on the back end of it. Indianapolis still in the snow bands, Toledo over to Pittsburgh by Saturday night, so you're still in the snow there. That's when it starts for New York City, starts later Saturday night, Boston. And watch this, this is going to be critical in how much snow folks get. If you're in Albany, you're all snow. You're getting snow, you could get a foot or more. But if you are south of there, say closer to New York City, it will transition to an icy mix. If not even rain, if you're on the southern shore of Long Island, that is going to cut down on some of those snow totals. So keep that in mind as we go through this storm. That rain-snow line is going to be really critical as to who gets what where. So you can see some of the half-foot plus pink kind of bullseyes, and the areas that, even like Toledo, who hasn't had snow this season, looking for even a 3-inch or so to be a big deal. But then you get into, say, Binghamton or Albany, right through Burlington, New Hampshire and Maine. That's where the serious snow is going to be falling. You get closer to the coast, it'll be cut down, but it's still not going to be good to travel. I don't want anyone to think it's fun to drive around on snow that turns to ice, then becomes even rain, and then refreezes because it's so cold on Monday morning. The wind chills will make it feel like 10 below in Washington, D.C., and the wind itself will gust 20 to 40 miles per hour.